Alrighty folks, welcome back to another episode of my Roman Empire playthrough where of course we're trying to achieve that one faith, and I think this might actually be the last episode. I'm going to try to get straight into things here and keep the game unpaused because we're mostly going to be waiting. So I've got the game on speed 5, but I've noticed guys that British Mexico is converting some provinces, and I know that Ming is converting some provinces. So I mean there are very few provinces remaining inside of the game, and yeah, to say that I think we've got the achievement is not 100% true, because I simply don't know if we will get it at all due to these bugs and so on. But how about we, I guess the only issue that could occur is like an independence war by all of our subjects. So how about we throw down some of our, like Castilian Brazil there, Hispaniola, try to keep them happy. And is the Holy Bro happy? Yes he is, because I just cancelled my influencing him. Ming is pretty much happy in terms of relations, so that's not going to help him out. I do want to keep my prestige up, preferably, because if we have it low, then I might not be able to buy Defender of the Faith. Yeah, so it's been a long game, and it's pretty sad. Breton, Brazil. It's this guy. It's pretty sad, the prospect that we might not be able to get the achievement. But there are very few independent nations in the game right now, and those who are independent are Orthodox. They've done a good job converting themselves up, and I'm going to try keep it on speed 5 here in order to wait out modifiers like that, which are like 5 years away. A lot of these we cannot convert due to cores progressing, and it's pretty much these that we have owned ourselves which have modifiers. I actually don't know where these ones are. It's stressing me out a bit. Let's... Alright. 09. It comes up in 09. So we definitely have some unrest, but it's not that big of a deal. I would suggest with our overextension not being high and our war exhaustion going down, that was from truce breaking. I suggest that the unrest should improve. French Canada. Let's improve relations with him. Gotta be vigilant though, guys, and throw these back down. So this guy has some problems. He is converting them though, isn't he? Nice. He's coring them up quite slowly, but he's converting the ones he is coring. You get the point. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see. And until then, I'm gonna have a pretty meh commentary, guys, to see. I guess we should go help out our subjects out here, just considering they're struggling. Because we're just chilling. Let's not have any separatists if we can avoid it. This is why I play EU4, guys, to have to sit on speed 5 as I wait and then pause every time a missionary finishes, which I'm doing a very bad job of. I think that we're going to get to a stage where I've converted everything and I'm just waiting on time, guys, for these modifiers to go away, because I think that we are ahead of the game, which is a good place to be The problem is, of course, that those little weird colonies that the game often wants me to colonize, but I'm unable to. They're weirding me out a little bit. Ming just converted his last remaining non-Orthodox province himself. Although it did say missionary return though. Maybe I was doing it. Maybe I'm just a little bit crazy actually. No, I think it says that for your subjects as well, right? Alrighty, so we got one more colony here, but it is Orthodox, so it's inconsequential. The colonies. Yep. And we've got very few. It looks like about 5 or 6. There we go. Spy defending the faith to give us another missionary. Looks like one more province that we can convert, and otherwise, so we're way ahead. We are way ahead. Otherwise, we're waiting on modifiers to taper off. And I haven't seen any even after 1810 myself. So I think we're okay in that regard. And we're waiting for these provinces here to core up. And then we're going to slam them out. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm ahead of the game here. I don't even have anything to convert. That's how it appears to me. We're waiting on these cores, which are almost done. That's really good news. Well, I think in that case, guys, this is the final episode. And, wow. Often there is a little bump in viewers if I label the episode final or something like that. But I just want to thank those of you. I know not everybody has the time or the energy to be here throughout. But, yeah, I'm really blown away with those of you who have watched this entire thing. That's just madness to me. And I really, really appreciate it. I hope that you guys enjoyed as some of these begin to core up. Let's convert them. And yeah, what can I say? Even if we don't get this achievement due to these bugged out provinces out here, I'm kind of proud of myself for coming this far on the nation of Byzantium. This is sort of I don't think this is going to have any significance, guys, so what I'm going to do is actually not finish espionage ideas, because we're so far away. I will save these Diplo points just in case I realize I haven't colonized somewhere, which of course I think I have colonized everywhere. Just in case, though. I'm going to keep that open. There was a time, of course, where like I felt like conquering the world was a huge challenge, and let alone on Byzantium. Obviously, if you do have some kind of good game, like I did initially in my game, and to take back your core, Byzantium is not hugely weak, but in no way are they hugely powerful either, like one of the greater powers in the beginning of the game. And the fact that we have essentially done a one faith is pretty badass. There's a modifier here, isn't there? Which is about to come up. Many of these modifiers are going to begin coming up, which is pretty cool. I'm trying 13 colonies to improve relations with these subjects. Is that the only real threat is if they did decide to declare a independence war, but somehow I doubt they will. And I just finished up coring Aland, which is the last province we have conquered in this game. We really could have done more. There is more we could have done if we were really stressing. Any land that I had remaining, I could have stated it up and used an edict to convert it. But we've got a lot of room to spare, which is pretty cool. Japan's defending himself. What a good lad. We've almost done with aristocratic idea, so we'll try to finish that. A diplomat can be utilized for something. Not really, kind of. It doesn't make much of a difference, apparently. I mean, we have far fewer of them are experiencing liberty design now, but it's just not enough, really. Some of them are so unhappy, we can never really appease them unless we throw prestige into them. I'm worried about Canada taking... his prestige is really low. Let's do, like, just one. Because we do gain prestige yearly. Try to appease our subjects, because it's preferable. I don't actually need Defender of the Faith either. I don't need the missionaries any longer. However, it does give us yearly prestige. So it's quite nice to hold on to that. I think the latest modifier is like 1809 that I saw. Maybe there are later ones, but I'm not 100%. Basically, these are the ones with the modifiers. Where's Chang Tang? It's here as well. So there's the 3 provinces here. Yes, there are. Those are our 3 Sony provinces. Alright. Just making sure I kind of know what's going on. The Shinto ones are self-explanatory. I know where they are, and that's it. That's it. I know where the Shinto ones are. They're obviously in Japan, and they're the ones where the Russians and Japanese were trading provinces. Wow. So that's not going to be an issue at all. And look at this. We've converted up almost literally everything. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to get the One Faith, at least spiritually. We're going to deserve to get the One Faith. The question is whether or not it's going to give it to us with those weird thingies. I've looked tenaciously, guys, in between each episode recently for any provinces which are not colonized. People have suggested for me to look at tabs like this, the possible colonies. I don't see any that can help us out, any tabs. The possible colonies appears to only show me colonies which are progressing. I've looked everywhere, and really hoping that there's no islands or anything like that. But I think that there were enough colonial nations who had kind of world influence. Like even Scandinavia was up here in Mexico and in islands in the Pacific, if you guys remember. And at that stage of the game, he should have been able to colonize anything, like any obscure island. There's nothing inland. So I'm fairly certain that I mean, I own many of these islands which I never even interacted with, right? And that's because I just sort of used that tab and fully annexed nations like Scandinavia who were colonizing at the time. So I'm pretty confident that we have everything, and that's not an issue. And if we do not get the One Faith, it's not due to that, in my opinion. Now these ones are coring up, so our missionaries are actually sitting around while these core up. It's fun times, man. We came all this way. This is the reward we get, to sit around and not even be sure if I'm ultimately going to get the achievement. Russia's fighting somebody, I think. Wait, is Pomerania a great power? Wow, look at this. There are so few nations that, like, Pomerania and Nitria are great powers. That's pretty funny. Now, I don't mind if you guys are fighting, as you're all Orthodox and you cannot change your religion. I do mind that that's not converted, but we've got plenty of time before the end of the game to see if he's going to convert it. He does have religious ideas, so even though it's 32 development, I suspect he will convert it. But if worst case scenario he doesn't, at like 18, 09 or 18010, if he hasn't converted it, I'm going to invade him and just take the one province. Wow, this was such a long time in the making, guys. I still remember the stress. We don't even need to take the policy that is going for missionary strength, wherever it is there. Although the unrest is actually pretty nice. Let's just take it, lol. Do you guys remember how intense this game was in the early game? I remember, it was pretty intense. I have a knack of trying to give you guys some intensity by simulating a kind of a live stream environment by uploading my series before it's ever really began, and that really puts the Bunsen burner under my ass, if you know what I'm saying. And I almost had a bloody mental breakdown because of how much I desire to just have a good game and do well, and how poorly we were doing at one stage. We went from doing absolutely gloriously to so badly. I was winning like 3 wars at the same time, and I felt like if Hungary attacked us, then it was all over. It was GG. And there was one stage I think I felt the same if Venice attacked us, and I had to peace out the wars for very little, and or I think white peace at some stage. See, one province has come up, very good. It's going to show us apparently automatically. That's good to see. Cool. Wow. So many hours. It's crazy how I do like one episode roughly a month, and as a result, a day, I mean, rather. As a result, it takes months to play a game like this, which is pretty crazy. That was a long time ago, those first few episodes. Oops. Just clicking through stuff there. I'm trying to hurry along at this stage. Hey, we're accepting Austrian. Cool. Where was that discipline advisor when we needed him, dude? Yeah, it's been so long in the making. I've gone through different phases. Sometimes I'm kind of reckless, trying to hurry the game along. A lot of people critique my play style, and maybe you guys would behave differently if you're in my position. I can see that. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm trying to do other stuff as well, because the series is not hugely sort of beneficial for the look at that Suez Canal finished up for the channel. The series are typically not hugely beneficial, and I'm always busy doing stuff in real life, etc. And I get in stages where I'm making enough money and I don't even care about where my merchants are anymore, that kind of thing. As you guys know, I apologize if that pisses some of you off. I'll try to do better, but at the same time, sometimes I just don't have the motivation. We don't need admin points any longer. So, was there anybody else? Why do you die? Let's just take a +3 advisor. I'm sick of looking for advisors. Is there anybody else who we rely on converting a province? I don't think so. For those of you who have not been here throughout the entire game, I imagine some of you are tuning in to the final episode. All of these subjects that I have, I mean, many of them are self-explanatory, like Ming using that reconquest, but most of them have been released when I've been taking huge chunks of land and trying to reduce my overextension. We're actually way over our Diplo slots at 10 out of 6. where I would take gigantic chunks of land and release nations in order to utilize their missionaries, especially if they have trade ideas. And that's, excuse me, religious ideas. Like this is the perfect case. And then feeding them. So that should be the last colony in the world, I suspect. Canada. Funny story with Canada, guys. We had Newfoundland on the map. And I managed to give him some provinces in India by granting claim. He actually had a claim in India, which is really weird. I think the way he got it was by, at that stage, his only valid rival was somebody out here. And he must have gotten a claim sort of via an event. And therefore I was able to grant him a province out here. And then begin feeding him. However, unfortunately, he added them to trading companies and never converted them, which really ruined my day. So it turned out to be a pretty dumb idea, and therefore I actually gave Newfoundland independence and he formed Canada so that I could kill him. A lot of weird stuff going down this game, including the fact that the Japanese update came out, and although it didn't bug out my game in the sense that it's still playable, it did bug out, wow, only 3 provinces remaining, guys. It did bug out these provinces which were added to the game, and in some ways we can interact with them. We've had missions to colonize them and so on. So it's stressing me out a little bit. We're about to find out here soon. Now, he can... Wow, look at that. He's converted it just like that. Brilliant. So I think these are the last 3, soon to be 2 provinces in the game. And we've got over 10 years to spare. Now, where are they exactly? Here and here. Let's have a look. One is 2 years away, and yeah, so that's actually the last one in the game. This one's going to come up here soon in a moment. And we're chilling here on speed 5. Wow. Unbalanced research. Feels bad, man. Wow, this is sort of surreal, guys. This series felt like it took forever for me. I actually, for some reason, I really misjudged. I wanted to jam out my Austrian series a little bit more aggressively, like once I'd finished this series. But I sort of misjudged that, like, the Austrian series has been much slower than I would like, actually. And this series has just gone on and on and on and on. But I do plan to jam that out a little bit faster here as we I have no sort of daily uploads. Japan converting that himself like a champion. That's what he's there for. And in 1 year's time, it's the moment of truth, guys, to see if we will actually get the achievement. So I just want to stress again, for those of you who have not been around, you know, it's a shame that I might not get the achievement here, even though I feel like I'm sort of entitled to it via this game. Because of these buggy provinces, we're about to find out. They say they have no religion, but I mean, the achievement is to have every province be the Orthodox faith, so we'll see. But the good news is, if I don't get it, I'm still proud of what we achieved here today, making the entire world Orthodox, and I can get it on my Austrian game where I'm like 100 years ahead of time because I'm just smashing it. So this is the last province remaining. It's currently building a building which will finish in 2 years. So the modifier has been removed, and it's only going to take us 5 months to convert, but we have to wait until this building has finished. Thanks, Japan. yeah, so I guess either way, guys, this is the end. This is the end of this episode coming up here, but it's also the end of this entire series. Once again, I just want to thank all of you guys who have stuck around, and I really do hope you enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? That sometimes it feels like a little bit of a chore for me, but I do it for you guys, and I hope it doesn't feel the same way for those of you watching. And I'm really looking forward to doing something new in the future, yet to be determined. The obvious one that I want to do is the 3 Mountains achievement. That's sort of one of my ambitions, but I might do something instead. Definitely give me your suggestions, guys, on what you would like to see me do. One of the things that I had in mind is attempting a 1 culture run, which is obviously not an achievement, but it's something that I've never achieved myself. I will admit, though, that we're not going to do it. I don't exploit, and I don't even save scum or anything like that, which is, there's pretty far and few between people who actually do not save scum in this community. So just keep that in mind when thinking that, you know, other people do 1 cultures on smaller nations. I get that. And, you know, you can speculate all you want, but for me and my skill level, I would have to pick somebody very strong like Austria, in my opinion, in order to achieve, like, one of the greater powers in order to achieve the 1 culture. So many people might think that that's kind of boring because it might be, you know, yet to be determined whether I will get the 1 culture. But in terms of challenge in the game, we might find that in less than 100 years, there's really no kind of a threat or competition. So just keep that in mind when you're, if you think a 1 culture would be a good idea. I kind of don't think that I could achieve it on a weak nation, and people might find it a bit of a flop. Okay, Japan bet us to it there. People might find it a bit of a flop and a bit boring, I suppose, if I am just playing a huge, powerful nation and just ruffle stomping people. As far as 3 Mountains is concerned, I also don't know if I could just outright achieve it in 1 attempt. I have done full series on this channel where I have not exactly, it has not gone how I anticipated, and it does take a long time. And definitely give me your suggestions, guys, if you have other suggestions on anything that you think would be really exciting to do. And I will try to, of course, make other videos as well throughout the course of the time that I'm doing that series. There's always been a lot of things that I wanted to do on my channel, guys, but a part of me feels like, you know, someone's given me advice before that your YouTubing is a marathon, not a sprint, and I actually agree. I actually think I've done a lot of good quality stuff, if I do so myself, when very few people were watching, and I've kind of learned, in my opinion, from my mistake in that regard. I do wish to kind of chug along here, and here's the moment of truth, and do cool stuff like that when I have an audience and people are there to see it. Here's the moment of truth, guys. Please get the achievement. Wow, awesome. Sweet. That is so cool. We did it, fam. We did it. Not only did we restore the Roman Empire as the nation of Byzantium, and then our Greek culture turned into Roman, and it was really weird. We had Greek culture and Roman culture, if you guys remember, and I kind of wanted to make Greek and Latin Empire. This game's a little bit weird. It's a little bit silly that you can form Rome at all, but we'll pretend that it's just really, really cool, and the fact that Rome is Umbrian right now, but we've accepted it. A little bit weird, but we formed the Roman Empire, and we went on to eliminate every non-Orthodox nation in the world. And we've got our friend Russia here, who would go on to be our ally if his trust wasn't so bad. Lol. But wow. 1 faith, the world. Wow. This is pretty crazy. Did somebody actually buy 1 faith? They did. He's got more prestige than me. You bastard. What am I even saying? The Defender of the Faith. He bought the Defender of the Faith. He's got 4 more prestige than me. Unbelievable. Either way, guys, wow, that was a really long time in the making. I'm really happy we got it, and the game didn't. We didn't experience any EU4 features. That's really cool. One of the harder achievements under my belt, and I'm pretty proud of myself for doing it as such a weaker nation such as Byzantium. That was really intense. I watched the first episode of the series back recently, and it was a bit surreal that game. This was the first game that I started and played through on this patch. Whatever is the most recent expansion, I forget, and I'm looking forward to starting another one soon. So thank you everybody once again. I hope you enjoyed. We did it, lads. There is one faith, and hopefully there's no religious wars going into the future here. No more brothers wars, because we just killed everybody. So excellent. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.